He's still getting his legs and his wind back, which, I just went through the same thing. It's frustrating. The minute restriction, by the time you get your rhythm, you turn around and you're subbed out. So, I just told him stay level-headed. But it's good to have you back out there.
Devin Booker on what he said to Bradley Beal and kind of the commonalities of Devin Booker coming back, Bradley Beal coming back. In case you missed it, we had it in the 4 o'clock reset. It is the top story of the day. Yes, it's the Suns and the Brooklyn Nets tonight. And yes, after goodness only knows how many games, it is finally here. The debut of the Big Three. Now, as Mitch mentioned in the Sports Center update, or in the 4 o'clock reset, I should say, there are still guys missing. We're not going to see Grayson Allen tonight. Josh Okogie's out. He suffered that hip injury last night. And this is nothing against those guys at all. So we're still not going to see the complete picture. But for you Suns fans who have been antsy to see the Big Three, it would appear that tonight's going to be the night. I know that you are basically reporting as much. There were reports earlier today it would happen. Today's the day.
That's what I heard. I heard all 3 guys are going to play. Now, we question whether Beal would play on a back-to-back. He's going to play. Didn't play a ton of minutes last night, but, and we always thought, okay, maybe you'd play him and then give him today off, but they're going to play him. Like, okay, if you're healthy to play, you're going to play. So he is going to play tonight, and then Durant's going to play tonight, and Book, and you'll have it. You'll have the Big Three. Now, what they're very hopeful for is that give them 10 games. They feel that they could win 7, 8, 9 games out of 10. That with this squad, now they're going to start to get on a little bit of a roll. That what you've seen so far is not who they are. That's not the team that they're going to end up being because they haven't had these guys. So that's what they're very hopeful for. Give it 10 games. Let's see how they do. And if they win 7, 8, or 9 games, I'm sure we'll be very pleased. If they don't, we might be very disappointed.
I think we're going to be very disappointed if they don't. Of course, none of this tonight could be made possible without the return of Bradley Beal last night, and certainly not without him being able to play tonight. Now, I had always doubted that he would play on the second night of a back-to-back. Just would they bring him along slowly? They're not. They're putting him back out there tonight. Which is, look, if you're healthy enough to play, you're going to play. How do we think Bradley Beal did last night?
I think he did okay. I think he did all right. I mean, my favorite shot was the one at the end of the third quarter, 1.7 seconds left, the baseline fadeaway, knocking that thing down. That was a big shot right there. And then, he started the fourth quarter. He started the fourth quarter with Goodwin, Utah, KBD, and Nurk. So Booker was out. Booker came back at the 7:38 mark, so they gave Booker some rest, about 4.5 minutes of rest in real time. And then, game time, and then in real time was probably more like 12 or 13 minutes of rest. So he came back and Curry came back at the same time, and the Book kind of took over. I thought Beal was okay. I mean, there was some turnovers. There was one bad turnover where he tried to pass to Derek Gordon. Just a lazy pass that got picked off. And he missed some shots, but, he wasn't terrible, but he really wasn't good. Nothing to write home about.
No, I mean, he was. It's going to get better. That I guess, and that's kind of a backhanded compliment. I think it's going to get better with Bradley Beal. I think last night, and you might even see it tonight too, I think there's just going to be some rust in his game. I thought the most important part for Bradley Beal, 2 things, I thought were the most important part. Number one, just watching him move, watching him play basketball. He looked fluid. It looked easy.
That's a good point. No issues.
It looked like he was running around fine and didn't see that. There were a couple times during his first comeback where he just looked gassed, where I just thought he looked tired and it looked like he was really struggling to get his wind and maybe his back was bothering him then. I thought last night he moved really easily, really fluidly, and everything looked good. I think the other part is the part that you just mentioned a second ago. All right, so his first Bookerless shift comes to begin the second quarter, and they were awful. I thought it was going to be. I was texting with some friends of mine during the game in that moment, and we all thought the Suns were going to get blown out because they were just getting destroyed in those non-Booker minutes.
Odd lineup to start with. They started with Bol, Eubanks, Goodwin, Gordon, and Beal,
and it was a disaster.
That's where he had the lazy pass, and it got picked up and went to a layup by Podzinski.
But you go to the start of the fourth quarter, which is the part that you just mentioned a second ago with the line. He played much better than without Devin Booker. And even though, I think they were down 3 at the start of the quarter, and when Booker came in, it was maybe a tie basketball game. I can't remember exactly what it was.
It was a 1-point game going into the fourth quarter because Beal hit that shot, that fadeaway that made it 88-87.
So they basically played even until Devin Booker came back, right? Which is fine. Play even until Devin Booker. Devin Booker was like a plus 15 last night. Play even until Devin Booker. That's why I thought that to be start the fourth quarter, the way Beal came in and played with that Booker-less lineup, did a nice job of keeping that game where it needed to be.
Listen,
so Booker could come in and take it over.
He definitely attacked the basket, right? He scored on a layup, and then he drove and he got that shot blocked by Jackson Davis. He got the shot blocked. So he did miss a short jumper, but he scored on a layup. He drove and got it blocked, and he had a driving floater like in the lane to make it 97-91. So you could see that he was trying to attack the basket.
Yeah. So here's what's on tap tonight. And this number is courtesy of our buddy Doug Howler over at The Athletic. Since the Suns acquired Kevin Durant on February 9th, okay, February, almost a calendar year ago. Since the Suns acquired him then, the Suns have fielded what was considered their regular starting five 15 times in 59 games. That includes last season's second half, the playoffs, and the first 23 games of this season.
25%.
Your intended best case scenario starting lineup.
25%.
15 of 59. 25%. So to say that we've all been waiting for this moment tonight is really stating the obvious. We've all been really waiting for this moment tonight because even the Durant trade, forget Bradley Beal for a second, even just the Durant trade back in February, we didn't get the benefit of a lot of what it was supposed to look like, right? Like hardly ever. I'm celebrating tonight. I hope it lasts for a long time. I hope they go on that nice little run you're talking about where they win a bunch of games and start stacking some wins here and start showing everybody what the plan was. The plan was to dominate with these big three, and it should work. But they've got to be on the floor in order for it to work, and that starts tonight.
I got to get out of my mind to start thinking these guys is fine china and that if you bump into them, they're going to break. They just got to go play. They're not going to play like, it's not like Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker are going to play every game from now until the rest of the season. They may miss some games here and there. As long as it's nothing major, I think we've got to be okay. As long as this is the longest period of time. What Beal just missed needs to be the longest period of time that anybody misses. They can't miss more than that.
I'm just thinking about, you and I had a conversation about washing dishes one day last week. We have these wine glasses at the house.
Yeah.
That after we drink out of them, you have to wash them very, very, very carefully, or you will break them. They are like the thinnest glass in the world.
Yeah.
You're right. We got to stop thinking about Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal. Be in that wine glass. I want the kind of glass I can throw in the dishwasher and not worry about it coming out broken, right? I want the kind of glass I can worry about. Don't have to be so careful with this because if I even squeeze it just a little too hard, it's going to shatter. I don't want a basketball team like that.
I did ask my wife the other day. I said, what would you miss about me the most if I was gone? She goes, the dishes. You're really good at doing the dishes. Okay. I swear to God.
That's what she said.
So what would you miss about me the most if I was gone? She goes,
not your sense of humor, not your classically rugged
really
good looks.
Good at doing the dishes.
Not your love of all things Italian culture. The fact that you wash a mean plate.
No, she hates Italians.
Well, that doesn't bode well.
Gosh, does not like Italians.
The look on Mitch's face, really?
She thinks we're all like conceited and cocky and arrogant.
Wow. Wow.
Thinks a lot of the women look the same.
No.
Wow.
What?
Yeah,
what? Italian men conceited and arrogant?
Cocky.
You? Cocky. Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I get it wrong there? Yeah, I don't. Well,
John Guidodoro, is that the pronunciation?
I don't know. Doesn't really like Italians.
Thanks for watching Burns and Gambo. Click to see more from the guys and hit the button in the middle to subscribe so you never miss a video from Arizona sports.